soil for it to a good home.
Well,
What do you mean a good home?
Load up the Raptor.
But what's a good home? It's soil. I aspire one day, and I've said this before, to work on Countryfile. And I think if I ever do, I will always pull up in one of these. Especially something like
across a field.
I went to South Lanarkshire to meet a medieval expert.
And then it's just this very tweedy man in a wax jacket waiting for you to finish donutting.
What, in a meadow full of rare butterflies? And it's just me with just pollen and grain everywhere.
Still in two-wheel drive, just donutting it until finally you have to click it into four to get the fuck out of the mud.
It would be that tall. So you just see dust and pollen and
in
birds.
that way, did you ever watch? I think it was the first series of that Jamie and Jimmy's Kitchen show, the one that was anchored from the studio at the end of Southend Pier.
That's not the one they drove a Capri.
Yeah, they had the Capri, but they had the Capri, the late Capri.
The Brooklands, the 280.
Ford's Heritage Collection.
Yeah, I remember. It's the very last Brooklands, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I drove it once, and the brakes weren't working. And the bloke from Ford's Heritage Place, I got 200 yards down the road, downhill towards the T-junction, and I was like, oh my holy God.
And you're in like a sacred
handbrake. And I drove it very gingerly back and went, the brakes really aren't working very well. I said, old car, mate, you're probably just not used to it, it's old cars, the brakes, it's ain't drums on the back, you're probably not used to it. I went, no, really, I don't think the brakes are working. It's just an old car. And then I saw the same bloke later in the day, and he went, oh yeah, you said the brakes are not, Capri weren't working. Yeah, they're not working at all. Yeah, there's no pressure going at the front, it was all on the back drums and they're rubbish. Well, thanks very much. They subsequently fixed it, and I know this because on Jamie and Jimmy's Friday night dinner, or whatever it was called, every time they did an on-location report, the pair of them going somewhere in that Capri, for some reason somebody decided that the recurring gag of the show would be they would always arrive at high speed and absolutely anchor it on a full and a bit of lock.
Oh, really?
Stop. Yeah, it was a really bizarre thing to do. But that could become your signature on Countryfile.
Oh yeah. Would it be, but for added lack of driving talent effect, would it be a full understeer stop?
Yeah.
So you think you're going to handbrake it, but it goes wrong, and it all shifts to the front.
Very
really nose heavy.
And then you just get out as if nothing's happening. Go, Margaret, hi, so tell me more about why red squirrels have been reintroduced into this area. And she can't quite...
No, she's looking up. Just because of this, I've left this ticking over.
You leave it running during your chat.
I've left it ticking over, and it's so damn hot. The turbos are just ticking away as well.
Does the fan just keep going in
Oh,
while
the
you're
fan-
trying to do a piece to camera? There's an E-type.
Oh, look at that old
Lovely
dude.
LD type.
Red seat belts.
Red seat belts. That's a bit. I don't see a black E-type very often.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah, I think this is a thing. I think we should get you on. We should get you on Countryfile, definitely.
Right, there's a travelling fair.
Do you think
They would love this. If you pulled over onto that verge now, it'd be like wasps around a lolly. Do you feel a bit like a British Fall Guy?
Oh man,
Yeah, because
that's why I like this.
Yeah, that is because the Fall Guy. That was a Ford, wasn't it?
No,
Wasn't it?
I think that was a.
Was it a Chevrolet?
Actually, hang on a minute. I think it was a Dodge.
Oh, we have to.
Or
look this up. Don't say International Harvester.
We're just running through American companies and making pickups in the 80s.
I reckon it was a Ford. Or,
I can picture it. I'm pretty certain it wasn't a Ford. But
you're saying it's a Toyota Hilux?
Yeah, you're saying it was a Ford. It was a P100.
Oh,
it was a
Cortina.
Cortina-based pickup truck.
Oh,
They were made in South Africa.
They were made in South Africa. You're absolutely right. Didn't they do a V6 version for the Australian?
I think
market?
they did for Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Peeps, yeah.
See, that's quite cool.
That's why. So I would have to, if I was going to smoke 50 grand on my Ranger Raptor,
Yeah.
have to demand that they did me one in brown.
Yes.
Fall Guy brown.
Yes.
and then I just spent the whole time jumping over things.
I think you are.
People.
I'm going to just quickly look up on my phone what the Ford guy drove, because I'm going to say Ford. You're going to say not a Ford.
I'm saying that it was a Ram. It was a Dodge Ram.
Am I right in thinking, was he a private investigator and also stuntman?
And a stuntman.
I mean, because
he did private investigating to fill in for the quiet times when the stunt work had dried up, or vice versa. I'm not really sure.
Oh, hang on.
He was not the kind to kiss and tell.
Is
I
that
remember
true?
that from the theme tune.
I think it's a Chevrolet.
Ah, so I suppose technically we were both wrong.
It was a 1981 GMC.
Ah, GMC.
GMC, which is a Chevrolet, isn't it? Really?
So I was going to say GMC, and I thought, no, I'm confusing it with the A-Team van, which was a GMC.
That's right. It was
GMC had got those 80s action hour-long comedy drama shows sewn up.
Yeah. GMC K2500 wide side with a Sierra Grand, some sort of trim level.
Trim
Hang on.
package, yeah.
I need to find it. Hang
course.
on. Lee Majors.
I've just realised why I like this car. It's not because it actually drives all right and because it feels quite well put together. It's because it's basically the Fall Guys truck.
It is the Fall Guys truck. Yeah.
But you can have it in right-hand drive and it's not too big for British roads. Well, there we go.
The jump at the beginning of the Fall Guy was absolutely massive. I mean,
wasn't it a 911 that he was chasing at one point? He did a huge jump onto a road and it really goes down.
Oh, it goes
onto
fully
the springs.
onto.
It's probably written off, but
I'd say it was shuddered and wrinkled. Yeah, 1981 to 1986.
well,
hang on, they moonlight as bounty hunters.
Yes, of course they do.
Would you rather be a bounty hunter or a stuntman if you had to choose a profession now?
I think I'd probably be a bounty hunter.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm too aware of my own mortality to be a stuntman. And I mean, you can still get properly fucked up being a bounty hunter, I reckon.
Of course you can.
But I don't think.
Look at Dog's face. He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm starting to look at bounty hunter.
Okay, I'll be stuntman then.
Fine.
You know Cadwell Park?
Yeah, I know Cadwell Park, yes.
Every time I say it or I hear it or I read it, my brain sort of self-corrects like an annoying mobile phone that's correcting the spelling when it didn't need it.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about Cadfile Park. Keep saying Cadfile.
Cadfile as in the monk-based drama series with Derek Jacobi. Spun off a series of monk-based books.
Yeah, Medieval Sleuth.
Medieval Sleuth.
Yeah.
Father Cadfile? Brother Cadfile?
Brother, could be brother.
Brother Cadfile.
So Cadfile Park. I just keep
Cadfile
going,
Park.
Cadfile Park.
And this is what? A medieval monastic. Monastic.
They call him Boombastic. Definitely monastic. Shaggy is not a man of the cloth.
No.
Because he sung about doing somebody else's wife on the bathroom floor.
And then getting away with it with the simple expedient of saying,
it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, love that. Proper Boris Johnson spec.
I was going to say, it's quite Trumpian.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But it
was.
I've got a picture of you. No, it wasn't me.
No. So Cadfile Park, I envisage.
Yeah.
I hope. It is the racetrack that we know and love.
Yeah, very hilly, very up and downy.
But it's
the British Nürburgring.
Yes, but
people sometimes say.
It's been owned by the church for many years.
Right.
And there are certain days of the year that you can't race there, and that is not, as we think, because of noises.
Oh.
It's not because of noise curfews. It's because only people of the cloth go there for track days.
Oh, I see.
And as a result, I would suspect that Cadfile and friends, I don't know if there is a today's Cadfile, they go there and they tool up in what they've got.
But Cadfile was a monk.
Cadfile
Was he not? So track days for monks is what you're really
It's a track day for monk, and of course they're not talk. Some of them don't talk.
Well, also, I feel like it probably depends on the order of monks, but do they not a lot of the time, the whole point of going into a monastery and being a monk is you're renouncing material goods.
Well, they don't own the cars.
Oh, I see. Someone's laying on to the Church of England.
The Church of England owns a couple of handy track cars.
A fleet of caged E46 M3s or something. Well, not even that.
Well,
I mean, you could have a lot of fun with a 330 Ci, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Of that era.
Well, what would the C of E?
What's the most
buy a fleet
holy car to?
Holy.
Now, funnily enough, a friend of mine is a vicar.
Okay.
He's an old university friend of mine who, after we left university, suddenly got the call somehow and went to what do you call it? Vicar school, the ecclesiastical college.
Yes.
And is a man of the cloth. And he once told me that he went to a conference where the star guest was the Archbishop of Canterbury.
What? Do you think he will be?
It was
Justin
it's the
Welby.
previous one.
Okay.
It was that eyebrowsy one.
Yes,
anyway.
eyebrows. Nice guy.
And he arrived in a chauffeur-driven Honda Accord.
Did they?
Yeah. And in a way, I thought
Chauffeur-driven?
that's quite well. Someone, not a chauffeur, makes it sound a bit too fancy.
Yes,
doesn't it?
yes.
Somebody else drove him. I mean, he's the Archbishop of Canterbury. He can't be expected to drive himself. He's a fucking important man in his
Okay, so
churchy world. But
so it's got to be
an Accord is quite a sort of
Yeah.
godly car. Particularly, this was a few years ago. So this is an old shape Accord.
I like the old shape Accord. They don't even sell the Accord in the UK anymore, do
No,
they?
the kind of car that you would hope would last for a while.
What about?
Quite sensible, quite frugal.
Yeah, well, the C of E would buy them at the bottom of their value so as not to be frittering money away needlessly. There would be lead weight penalties taken from the roofs of slightly cheaty drivers' parishes. So they would use the lead off the roof and go, well, you need a weight penalty, so we're going to
Well,
take...
wait, we're back to Countryfile Park now, not the
This is-
Archbishop of Canterbury. And
No, this is Countryfile
okay,
Park.
right. So
I'm
would they be
taking
allowed
your-
an Accord Type R, or is that too?
I quite like the idea of a
Just
90s
a-
Accord Type R.
But what about if it wasn't? If it's just an Accord 2 litre?
Auto? No. It's too much. It's too much. Oh,
I
hang
feel
on.
like there's a Bible passage that says, "And Jesus went off his own accord," or something like that. So it feels like this is very much we're on the right track here.
Okay.
A Honda Accord is
Cloth seats,
a
because...
Christly car.
Yeah, men of the cloth, so cloth seats.
Well, if you have cloth seats as well, it means if you ever wanted to have an interfaith track day against some people from your local Hindu temple, they're not going to be offended when you go get into that car. Well, I can't because the seats are made of cow skin.
I would absolutely love multi-faith Cadfile Park event. Because hang on, what about missionary motorsport? You've got mission motorsport. It'd be missionary motorsport.
Open to interpretation, but yes, I see what you mean. So what they're doing the Lord's work by travelling to the developing nations and putting on track days. Rudimentary tracks which they've carved into the landscape.
Well, no, they're always Cadwell Park shaped tracks.
Hard to get the elevation, I think, sometimes. But let's not discount it.
Yeah.
You know, there is notably a corner at the real Cadwell Park called the Mountain, which is a complex.
Oh, yes.
Hard to replicate in the flat savannas of East Africa.
Kenya.
Yeah.
So
But let's not rule it out. I mean,
So I see Cadfile Park as a bit, I could see the Hondas working. In fact, Silverstone still has a glut of Hondas
does it?
as an infield cars, yeah. From the day, and they're all 90s. They're all late 90s.
You can't beat a 90s Honda.
No, they're very good. They were at their prime.
Good. Well, I would suggest that you fire off a couple of emails. One to Cadwell Park, entitled "Name Change Suggestion," and one to the Archbishop of Canterbury, entitled business opportunity.
But can you imagine the Nomex cassocks?
If a bishop pops down, he's got to have a crash helmet with a mitre on top of it. You're going to have to get some Accords with sunroofs to accommodate some of the headgear.
Kevlar mitre. Just be amazing. I'd love it.
If you could work with Goodyear or Pirelli or Michelin or someone to have a little bit of incense worked into the compound of the semi-slick tyres that you put on these cars, so that when someone does a burnout, it smells very holy.
Well, when you know your tyres are starting to get thin, when you're on an endurance race, you get that smell coming through the cabin.
The smell of incense.
You do, yeah.
And myrrh. I don't know if you can smell myrrh.
Yeah.
I don't really know what myrrh is, but
myrrh predates people using that word as being not particularly interesting or divisive in any way. Maybe it wasn't a thing. It was just it was gold, frankincense, and it was just like I don't know what else.
That'd be gold, frankincense. Meh.
Are you familiar with autonomy? The levels of autonomy?
1 to 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about level 42 autonomy? Which would be amazing.
Wait, you can sit back and play slap bass because the car's driving it.
No,
but then the car would also drive steadfastly down the middle of the road.
It's a chance for the pop funk outfit band to make a massive renaissance based upon autonomous vehicles. Level 42 autonomous. Their new album will be called Autonomous.
What features do you believe above level 5, i.e. you don't have to do anything to the car whatsoever and could sit in the back? What extra features would level 42 bring apart from a slightly infuriating slap bass and unfashionable music?
Would it be mandatory? The only way you can engage it is that you learn one of the musical instruments. So you're just constantly in a music lesson en route to your destination, which would be either a bass guitar or could be some drums.
Perhaps, given that the band are not at the height of popularity they once were, that frontman / bassist Mark King, in fact, finds himself now having to drive an Uber for a living and jocularly refers to it as offering his passengers level 42 self-drive.
Of course, so it's not autonomy, it's actually the frontman driving.
It's just members of the band are now minicabbers because...
that would be a great name for a minicab company.
Level 42 minicabs.
Yeah, level 42 cabs.
And then he could pass it on to his offspring and claim that it is running in the family.
Of course. I've got a question for you. What is Victoria's Secret?
This bothers me.
Why?
Well, because we know Victoria's Secret is a shop that sells fancy ladies' undies.
Yeah, come off it.
And the idea is it's Victoria's Secret. Now I sort of get that it's Victoria's Secret. Only she knows.
No, she doesn't.
Only she knows what she's wearing underneath. She feels good about it.
It's in every airport.
Well,
it's not a secret.
That's one of my issues. The other issue is that surely if Victoria wants to have a really saucy secret, she'd not be wearing any underwear at all, which undermines the whole foundation of the business.
But she can't admit that because that would crumble the business model.
Yeah. You walk in and they just go,
just wear nothing.
I'd like to buy some really nice pants and bra matching sort of thing, maybe some stockings as well. So just a little treat for my boyfriend. I wouldn't bother if I were you. Just wear nothing. Oh, that's what Victoria does.
That's the rudest thing you can get.
Yeah, that's as rude as you can get. Just whisper to him, I'm not wearing any underwear.
I love that.
That's my secret.
That is the secret of Victoria. Victoria's Secret is commando.
Yeah.
Not the
Why?
film.
What did you think Victoria's Secret was?
Well, I don't know. When I started to think about it, I migrated onto what did Super Ted used to whisper? What was his magic word? Do you remember Super Ted?
Yeah.
And he'd say, I'm just going to go...
about the magic word.
Just going to go and say my magic word. And he'd just go and whisper nothing. And only, I think, Spotty, his blithering friend, knew But you know the thing about Super 10 is, and this only happened recently, and I was at the Frankfurt Motor Show of all places. I came down for breakfast with a very, very sore throat because I started to feel ill at that point. Still got it. And I sat down with the cameraman I was working with, and I said, "Do you remember Super 10?" He went, "Yeah, I totally remember Super 10. It's like, do you remember the music at the end?" And he went, "No, not really." I said, "Not the beginning music, but the end music was unnecessarily disco-y.
Was that?
Really disco-y."
Huh.
Yeah. And
Is this like, no? But there's a benchmark here. Perhaps this is what they modelled it on. Do you remember the closing theme tune to Captain Caveman?
oh no,
Or no resemblance to the music at the start over the titles.
really?
And
Captain
it was
Caveman.
super 70s and disco funky.
Oh, was it?
Absolutely sensational piece of music.
Oh, so we have to see which one's more disco. Is it Super 10 end music or Captain
You'd
Caveman?
be going some to match Captain Caveman, honestly. It's,
You know, I was in the services the other day, and there's these adverts on the wall of the gents' toilets talking about underwear that masks the smell of a fart.
the farts. I know, and I can't figure
And
out if it's a joke. It sounds like a joke.
Which just sounds like a massive joke, based upon the fact that if you have such unholy guffs,
You should
right,
go and see a doctor.
your diet's wrong.
Yeah, you probably
Don't
got,
buy specialist pants.
probably got bum cancer or something.
It's like if your arse has got the toothache, your arse has got the toothache. That means you're something wrong with the bag inside.
Bag inside.
Something wrong with the bag. There's something wrong with the bag.
There's a period when the adverts above urinals in motorway service areas all seem to be quite heavy-handed innuendos, and it would just say,
Talking about your chap and stuff.
"Big cock is what we make our chicken burgers out of."
Oh yeah, yeah,
Things like that.
yeah. Yeah, it did, didn't it? There was a bit.
Throbbing bell end is part of what makes our campanology course such fun. Come to St Giles's Church. You just go, why is it that you seem to have had to do some kind of knob gag?
That won't happen in a ladies' toilet.
No.
It would never happen. It would just never happen. And it shouldn't.
Damp gorge. Come to Cheddar in the beautiful West Country.